Ladies and gentlemen, a couple of very interesting updates in the land of GPUs. Intel's Battlemage as well as Celestial have had a couple of very interesting details leaked, and the RTX 4060 Ti is expected to launch the end of May. We'll start out with Nvidia first, and so the RTX 4060 Ti should launch by the end of May, at least according to a report from videocards.com. This actually pretty much matches what we've been hearing in the past, and also what I've been hearing. I've heard basically end of May, early June was the target for these cards. Now, I'm sure most of you guys know the specifications, but we are looking at 4352 CUDA cores, 8GB of RAM, more on that in a moment, with 128-bit bus, and the TDP is 160 watts. Now, if you compare the 4060 versus the 4060 Ti, they are basically identical in the memory configuration, albeit with the 4060 cutting the number of CUDA cores down substantially. So, those specifications for both the 4060 Ti and the 4060 have been well established. Copper i7, Kimi has leaked them. It's also similar to what I've reported numerous times, as well as others on the internet. So I believe that these are correct. The performance targets for the 4060 Ti is going to be falling somewhere between the 3070 and the 3070 Ti. But obviously, the amount of memory is going to make things quite interesting going forward. Games at the moment, of course, have been absolutely gobbling up VRAM like they are M&Ms. So I will also be curious to see how memory bandwidth constrained the 4060 Ti is. Of course, we can see potentially some hints of that if we overclock the memory. But as for the card itself, allegedly it will be utilizing the PG190 board, which is the same one that's found within the 3060 Ti. I imagine this could potentially be something to do with reducing the cost of the card. Now, early reports from myself was that this card was going to be priced at $450 US, and the source that gave me that information told me $599, of course, for the 4070, but now I'm hearing it could even be $400 or cheaper. Basically, well, the market is just kind of messed up at the moment when it comes to graphics cards, so it's going to be very interesting to see what the final price is. At this stage, I don't really have a huge amount of faith in any pricing. I think that Nvidia are probably going to wing this close to the last minute. Obviously, the 4070 allegedly wasn't selling super well, and Nvidia have cut back the production of the card, and now it's not exactly uncommon in stores, but it's not, they don't have every single card in huge quantities in stock. That's the best way of describing it, at least according to the reports and rumors online. I also want to discuss Intel's Battlemage just for a moment. So Intel's Battlemage, of course, will be the follow-up to the current generation of discrete GPUs from the company, followed then by Celestial. So Alchemist, which of course is the current generation, is built on the TSMC N6 processor, and of course that launched in 2022. Battlemage allegedly is going to launch in 2024. I've heard some point in like late Q1, more likely to be Q2 at this stage, and Celestial potentially could launch in 2025. The rumor is that Intel want to try to step up the production schedule of its graphics card so it can basically be more competitive in the market. Battlemage's performance is roughly on par with, let's say, a 4080. So obviously, if that launches, let's even say the best case scenario, March 2024, and again, I think it's going to be a bit later, but let's hypothetically say March, that only gives them roughly, 3, maybe 6-ish months before RTX 50 and RDNA 4 launches, and obviously they're going to be back at the pack. So it's going to be interesting to see what their strategy is longer term. But this brings us to an oopsie. I want to give courtesy credit to WCCF Tech for this, so of course I will link them in the video description. And basically an oopsie has gone on, should I say. And Gamma Burst, which is a website, has been digging through profiles from Intel, Qualcomm, AMD, and so on and so on. And sometimes companies have essentially products or information leaked via LinkedIn because, well, obviously the whole purpose of LinkedIn is to sell yourself and, your skills and wares. And sometimes that can mean that you could be a little, let's say, loose-lipped. So basically, this seems to confirm that TSMC's 4nm process will be utilized for Battlemage, which again launches in 2024, and allegedly N3 will be used in Celestial. To my understanding, Battlemage and N4 is correct. I am uncertain about Celestial. One person has told me that it is N3, but obviously one person is not confirmation, so you would assume if this is really an Intel employee that's put this up, however, they probably have a good understanding of what is and what isn't being worked on within the company. As for Celestial, performance targets are a little thin on the ground at the moment. I'm even uncertain whether it be a monolithic die or not for gaming. I've heard honestly kind of mixed things on that. And of course, Intel themselves have confirmed that we will see Alchemist, Battlemage, Celestial, and finally Druid. Druid, of course, being the final SKU that has been officially confirmed. Anyway, I mean, that's just about it for this particular video. It's been a shorter one, I know, but I just want to put that out because I'm working on a couple of projects at the moment. So I just want to cover this because, quite frankly, I find the RTX 4060 Ti stuff quite interesting in terms of what NVIDIA's plans are going forward. I think that there is a lot of frustration at the moment with the RTX 40 series, as well as even AMD, to be honest with you, in terms of pricing and so on. So I'm going to be very interested to see what the pricing of these cards are, because as I've said 100 times at this point, the lower end market when it comes to discrete GPUs is essentially dead at this point. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these companies do, if anything, to ignite it. With that said, take care of yourselves. Have an amazing day. Bye for now.